I believe in most jurisdictions, the answer for NFTs will be no. Of course, the answer in each case depends on the features of the token, but typical NFTs, if there is such a thing, given how rapidly this space is developing, have characteristics which are likely to take them outside the definition in most jurisdictions. Well, first of all, most jurisdictions, including the two I actually know anything about, which is Germany and more broadly the EU and the US, have a substance over form approach for the question, what is a security? So the fact that we're talking about virtual assets is not going to answer the question for us. The US definition says a security is an investment of money in a common enterprise with a reasonable expectation of profits to be derived from the efforts of others. Now, if one person acquires an NFT, holds that in a wallet in the hope that it can resell it later at a higher price, there is still no effort of others and there's no common enterprise, because if you're looking at the typical NFT, as I said, let's say in the art space, the artist has created the NFT and is done. There is no further obligation towards the owner of the NFT to do anything further. And Ethereum world, normally the NFT is regarded as indivisible. So you're not sharing with others. So there is no common enterprise. And there is an even broader definition of financial instrument that we also have to look at from a regulatory perspective. But you still get to a similar outcome for a similar reason. There is the element that the ownership of a security gives you access to a future payment stream, or at least a potential future payment stream. Germany has an even broader definition of at least financial instrument, not security, a specific definition of crypto assets. That doesn't refer to a future payment stream, but it does require that either people accept the token as payment or that people hold it for investment purposes. Now, that last element opens the door for many, many things, but I would argue that you still have to read the traditional concept of a security or financial instrument into this definition. And this is where the non-fungible part of the NFT comes in. As an indivisible individual item, there can be no market price that you can derive from how others are trading in the same instrument. And you also don't usually have an underlying or reference value that will help you with pricing. And therefore, I would argue that this is still not covered by the broader German definition. Not everything of value is a security. Van Gogh painting doesn't become a security just because some people acquire it in the hope of reselling it at a higher price. Now, I did mention that there is a caveat, and that is the concept of fractional ownership. If we stick with the Ethereum nomenclature, because that's where I think most NFTs are currently being built, there is the concept of shards where you can tokenize your NFT. But, and now we're getting technical, not in a tech sense, but in a legal sense, by creating shards, you're creating new tokens. And that doesn't change the characteristic of the NFT itself. It's just that the owner of the NFT has created shards. And for those shards, you have to answer the question separately, and the outcome may be different. If you use shards as a crowdfunding method for acquiring a cool NFT, which you think will increase in value, then the shard buyers are investors, and the US SEC and the EU regulators are probably going to tell you that the shards are securities because the holders are buying into them, into the future cash flow of from the resale. But you could use the same shards to secure that same cool NFT for your local museum of modern art. And the purpose of the shard is to create a permanent record of the donors who made the acquisition possible, like you might read on a plaque under the picture in the art gallery. And then that very same shard wouldn't be a security. So I guess the answer is it depends, but generally speaking, it's easier with NFTs than other tokens to kind of stay outside the definition of a security.
Thank you. That's a fascinating answer.